It was a warm morning in May in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. President Ibrahim Traoré, at the age of 35, was sitting in his office reviewing reports on the country's development. In the few years he had been in power, Traoré had managed political reforms, economic growth, and had gained an unprecedented level of public support. But now, his vision was even bigger. He wanted to turn Burkina Faso into a technological hub that could compete on the global stage. That day, like any other, the challenges were many, but so were the opportunities. As he reviewed the numbers, his phone rang. It was an international call, something unusual for a president of an African country. He glanced at the number and decided to answer. This could be the call that changes everything. "Hello," Traoré said, unsure of what to expect. "President Traoré, this is Elon Musk." The voice on the other end was calm but unmistakable. "I've been following the transformative work you've been doing in Burkina Faso, and I believe we can do great things together." Traoré paused for a moment, surprised. Musk, the man behind Tesla, SpaceX, and Starlink, was interested in his country? It wasn't entirely unexpected. There had been whispers that Musk was looking towards Africa, but Burkina Faso? This was new. "It's an honor to receive your call, Mr. Musk. What kind of partnership do you have in mind?" Traoré asked cautiously. Musk didn't waste any time. "I believe Burkina Faso has enormous potential to become a technological hub in Africa. With Tesla, SpaceX, and Starlink, my companies could help transform your country. We could provide sustainable energy solutions, expand internet access, and help build the infrastructure necessary for a prosperous future." The president leaned back in his chair, processing the information. The possibilities were vast, but so were the risks. He didn't want his country to become a tool for foreign interests, but if managed well, this partnership could lead Burkina Faso into a new era of development. "Mr. Musk, I appreciate your vision, but I must be clear. Any partnership we pursue must benefit the people of Burkina Faso first. We cannot allow outside interests to control our future." Musk's tone was steady. "I completely understand, President. That's exactly why I want to work with you. This is not just about business. It's an opportunity to build something meaningful for your country's future." The conversation continued for over an hour, with Musk passionately discussing how his companies could help revolutionize Burkina Faso's energy sector, bring internet access to rural areas, and create thousands of jobs. At the end of the call, Musk made a proposal that made Traoré pause, but also piqued his interest. "I'd like to visit Burkina Faso next week to discuss the details." "It will be an honor to receive you, Mr. Musk. But as I said, any agreement must benefit our people first, not just foreign companies." What neither of them knew was that this conversation would trigger a geopolitical storm. The NSA intercepted the call, and within hours, it would land on President Trump's desk. This was just the beginning of events that would shake international relations. The report arrived at the White House in record time. President Donald Trump, upon receiving it, was furious. The news that Elon Musk, a man he considered one of his biggest allies, was now aligning himself with a leader like Traoré, who had come to power through a coup, was infuriating. Trump considered his relationship with Musk to be one of loyalty, and the idea that Musk would go behind his back to make deals with a foreign leader was unacceptable. In the Situation Room, NSA Director General Paul Nakasone was briefing Trump and his key advisors. The Director of National Intelligence, Jake Sullivan, sat at the table, along with Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, and other senior officials. The mood was tense as everyone waited for Trump's next command. "Mr. President," Nakasone began, handing over the latest report, "this is not just a business deal. Musk and Traoré are negotiating the transfer of dual-use technology, including critical infrastructure for Burkina Faso, which could be used both for civilian and military purposes." Trump's face turned red with anger as he processed the information. His administration had invested heavily in space exploration, defense contracts, and clean energy, all linked to companies like SpaceX. The thought of Musk, one of his most trusted allies, working with an African leader who had come to power through a military coup was a betrayal he couldn't ignore. How did we miss this? Trump snapped, his voice thick with frustration. Musk's supposed to be on our side. I made him who he is, and now he's helping a dictator consolidate power in Africa. Sullivan, trying to keep the situation under control, spoke up. Mr. President, we can't ignore that Traoré has significant popular support in Burkina Faso. He has implemented democratic reforms, and his country is gaining respect internationally. While his rise to power was unconventional, he's working to create stability and growth. Trump turned to Sullivan, his eyes filled with fury. Stable and thriving. Trump scoffed. This is a man who runs a country after staging a coup. He's no better than any other dictator. Musk is crossing a line here. We can't let this continue. Elon, the Treasury Secretary, raised a concern. Mr. President, this could have major repercussions for our space program. SpaceX's federal contracts are worth billions. If we push too hard, it could destabilize the space sector and the broader economy. There are many stakeholders, including NASA, who depend on SpaceX's success. Trump slammed his fist on the desk, his anger now uncontrollable. I don't care about that right now. We need to send a message. Musk is making deals with that country, and if he thinks he's going to do that with no consequences, he's mistaken. We need to show him that America is not going to be manipulated by any foreign leader, especially not one who's been nothing but trouble. Sullivan, realizing the gravity of the situation, looked at Trump and tried to reason. Sir, we can't let personal animosity cloud our judgment. Musk is an American citizen, and what he's doing is perfectly legal. If we take aggressive action, it could damage the reputation of the United States on the global stage. It could even push Musk into making alliances that could isolate us. Trump's face turned purple with rage, but he remained steadfast in his resolve. I want every option on the table. Get me Musk in here now. Within hours, Musk was on his way to the White House. When Elon Musk arrived at the White House, the tension in the room was palpable. Musk, ever the master of managing his public image, walked into the Oval Office with his signature calm demeanor. But as he entered, he saw Trump standing behind his desk, his face flushed with anger, flanked by aides who were clearly on edge. Elon, my friend, Trump began, his voice dripping with sarcasm. I hear you've been making some interesting new friends in Africa. Tell me about it. Musk didn't flinch. He had dealt with confrontation before, and he knew this was going to be no different. If you're referring to my conversation with President Traoré, yes, we explored potential business opportunities. Trump's face twisted with disbelief. He could not fathom why Musk, someone he had helped to flourish, was now aligning himself with a man who, in Trump's eyes, was nothing more than a dictator. Business opportunities? With that African dictator? You're negotiating with an enemy of the United States, a guy who came to power through a military coup, and you're helping him build his regime. How dare you? Musk remained unshaken, his voice calm. Traoré is not an enemy of the United States. He's a leader who is transforming his country. What he's doing in Burkina Faso is admirable, and he's gaining international respect for it. Trump laughed mockingly. Admire him? You think he's some kind of hero. He's an African dictator who humiliated me on TV. He's nothing more than a thug. Musk leaned forward, his patience starting to wear thin. Donald, you've got it all wrong. This is about partnership, not domination. What Ibrahim Traoré is doing in Burkina Faso is exactly the kind of leadership that the world should be supporting. He's building a future for his people that doesn't rely on the old systems of exploitation. Trump's face turned even darker, his anger reaching a boiling point. You're making a huge mistake, Elon. You're messing with the wrong person. I have the power to destroy you, and if you continue with this, I'll make sure you lose everything. Musk stood up, his patience fully tested. Are you blackmailing me, Donald? Musk's voice was cold, cutting through the room. You're trying to intimidate me into canceling a legitimate business deal. I won't be bullied by anyone, not even the President of the United States. The public fallout from the Trump-Musk confrontation began almost immediately. As Trump lashed out at Musk and Traoré, Elon responded with an equally strong message. Through a tweet, he publicly declared his partnership with Burkina Faso, making it clear that his commitment was to building something sustainable and mutually beneficial. The tweet went viral, quickly gathering millions of likes and comments, most of them positive, especially from African nations. Musk's defiance had sparked a global conversation about the future of partnerships, sovereignty, and the role of the United States in dictating international business. Trump's own social media response was swift and harsh, accusing Musk of betraying America. He declared that Musk's actions were unacceptable and that the partnership with Traoré was damaging to U.S. interests. As the weeks passed, the dispute escalated, drawing in not just Musk, but also other business leaders who began to publicly support his right to do business without interference. Even international leaders started weighing in, with many praising Musk for his forward-thinking approach to Africa's development. As the months passed, the impact of Trump's attack on Musk became evident. Musk's global reputation soared, while Trump found himself increasingly isolated. Leaders from around the world voiced their support for Musk's right to make business decisions without political interference. In Burkina Faso, the partnership with Musk had transformed the country. The arrival of Tesla's solar technology and SpaceX's Starlink internet had radically changed the lives of ordinary Burkinabe citizens, providing sustainable energy and connecting remote communities to the global economy. Meanwhile, Trump's reputation continued to take a hit, both domestically and internationally. His attempt to bully Musk had backfired, and his approval ratings dropped as he became associated with outdated, neo-colonial attitudes. As for Ibrahim Traoré, his country's emergence as a technological leader in Africa was now a symbol of how Africa could thrive without relying on foreign exploitation. Musk had backed the right leader, and together, they had shown the world that the future belonged to those who built bridges, not those who burned them.